So I was recently in the wow, the Almost Nerds podcast post E3 Day Zero. Did a podcast about predictions for the rest of the week and things we saw that we liked, or a recap for those of you that didn't get to see it. Lots of shenanigans, lots of fun. So Almost Nerds, the podcast is like 3 hours long, which for those of you who don't know, E3 was like over 10 hours long, so we just condensed it into three. And we have a pause button. So, one of the big things I liked was Bethesda has Fallout 4 coming out. Fallout 4 will also have Fallout 3. Here's me, Fallout 3 is one of my favorite RPGs for console, or at least the 360 slash PS3 generation of console. PS2, it is definitely either Shining Tears or the Dot Hack GU series. Like, I keep a PlayStation 2 around just to play those games. Like, though it's a series of 3 games, the Hack GUs. It's a great story. You don't actually need to know about the original Dot Hack series of 4 games. GU is perfect. Like, there is nothing in that game I would have changed. I mean, when you first start, there's one or two things in the system you might, but like there are counters, you can stop systems. It's a great game, but it's a PS2, and I don't know if I can actually give some viewing to that. If I can, I will. But back to Fallout. We have if Xbox One is gonna be getting Fallout 3, a lot of people or a lot of you guys are either going to start playing it or going to play it again so that you can get the achievements again, or if they add new achievements or whatever. So, I am making a video of the perfect stats for Fallout 3. I'm gonna skip through these at least semi quick. That way, if you need to hit pause, you can read what each of the stats does. The word is special, each letter standing for a different stat. So, the way the game works is you start with a perfect, well balanced 5 in everything. Lowest being 1, highest being 10. Do not put 10. Because the way Fallout 3 works, and probably the way 4 will work, New Vegas did it too, you have bobbleheads in Fallout 3. In Fallout 2, you had snow globes. Now, bobbleheads, there are bobbleheads for every stat and every skill. Now, the stats are what we're caring about right now. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different bobbleheads for stats. And what the bobbleheads for stats will do is up that stat by 1 point permanently, as if you had just put another point in it here. So, what we want is intelligence to 9. There are a couple of headgears I have discovered that can give you the intelligence of 9, but by the time you get to them, you'll have either A, passed a lot of checkpoints and locations and missions that will have leveled you up a couple of times, or you will die a couple of times unless you put it on very easy just to get there. So that's up to you. I usually go for the 9, just because there are a couple of dump stats here that, well, there's one dump stat and then one stat I usually don't care about if I don't have to. But I put intelligence at 9. The reason being is right when you leave the prologue, you level up. When you level up, you have skill points, and that's pretty much the bread and butter of this game. If you don't have a high enough speech skill, you can't talk to people. You can't coerce them, you can't con them, you can't lie to them. If you have too low a skill in your guns, the guns will shake around a lot. They're not very stable when you go to use them. So lots of skill points is important when you level. And the way skill points goes is it's 10 plus your intelligence. So in this case, I'll be getting 19 the second I leave the prologue. And then while I'm at level 2, I can immediately go to get the the bobblehead on the other side of the country, or the other side of the map. So it's kind of a pain in the butt, but getting to 10 before you level ever again really helps you. Like, my character is currently level 16, and I am maxed out in pretty much every stat I find important. Like me, I usually max out speech, science, and repair. No, speech, science, lockpicking, sneak, because being stealthy is very important to me. Alright, so intelligence is your stats. Strength is your carrying capacity. Most websites you look at, most things on like GameFAQs or them, will tell you a 4 in strength is fine. Because the first city you pass, the sheriff's house has the strength bobblehead. The only real strength perk, like when you level up on Fallout 3, you also get a perk every level. This is a thing that a lot of people hated about Fallout New Vegas. In Vegas, you got a perk every other level, so you only got half as many perks, which really stinks, because a lot of these perks, like at level 12, you'll see some perks, and you'll be like, okay, only 2 of these perks is worth using. So at 12, you'll pick one of the perks, at 13, you'll pick the other one, and at 14, it opens up a new list of 4 or 5 to choose from, already onto the list of ones that you've had options from the whole time, which is really cool. The only one important for strength is strength has one called strong back. Each point of strength gives you a carrying capacity boost of 10. Strong back gives you a carrying capacity boost of 50. So it's like putting 5 points in strength for only 1. Now, I have realized late in the game, there's not a whole lot of way to boost strength, and the best armor in the game weighs 45 pounds. So pretty much my strong back perk is carrying my armor. That kinda hurts, so we're gonna leave it at 5 for now. Perception, you definitely need your perception at 6. It's what controls your radar. I'm out of points right now, so we're gonna skip down and take all the points out of Charisma. Charisma is the dump stat. It's been the dump stat in Fallout 3, it's been the dump stat in New Vegas, because all Charisma does is boost... Every stat boosts a particular skill point by a couple of points. So they're not that big a deal, except luck. Luck boosts all of them, and intelligence. But charisma affects barter, which is you can buy and sell stuff for more or less money. Barter is not important. Barter is going to be probably the last skill you put any points into unless you somehow are always broke. The only thing you will ever really buy from stores is things for your house, which those things only cost like $1,000. So after a couple of levels worth of farming, you'll have more than enough money to just keep recycling. Because business owners don't get more money. So when you buy stuff from them, say you buy 1,000 gold or $1,000 worth of stuff. That's the $1,000 that shop owner will have. Plus whatever little like 200 or 300 caps she had before. It's really cool. But charisma affects your speech, which that's going to be one of the first skills you beef up with your skill points. So having like plus 1 or 2 points from charisma is a waste of your time. So we've got intelligence, we've got charisma. We're going to leave strength for now and see if we have points later. We want to put at least 1 point in both agility and luck. Luck gives you, like in this case, I will half luck, and that's how many points I get to every single skill. It also affects the starting percentage for your critical hit chance. Right now, I have a 6% chance of critting somebody. Endurance, I have realized I usually leave endurance at solid 5, which makes your like max HP to start with like 200 points, which is agility affects your move speed, not by much. If you go from a 6 to a 7 or a 5 to a 6, you really aren't going to notice that big jump in move speed. It also affects your VATS, which VATS is one of the single most important things you will have in the game. In the game, like once you start leveling, you have a perk that will let you up to 10 times. So if you just really don't like any of the perks ever, you can use the perk Intense Training. which when you do it, it will let you add a permanent +1 to any stat. Let's see, endurance, you need to end it with a 6, bare minimum, because you need a 5 strength and 6 endurance to get strong back, and a perk called toughness. Toughness can be taken more than once, and it ups your damage reduction by 10%. The maximum damage reduction is 85, so toughness is actually pretty good. With that perk, I think you can get up to 30%, which the best armor in the game, just FYI, gives you about 40% by itself, so being able to cap on about the equivalent of light armor when you're wearing zip is really cool. Because that means you can just wear something for looks like a trench coat or a duster or just jeans and a t-shirt and still have 30-40% floating around. That's really cool. So we'll leave endurance at 5. For perception, you need to end it at 6. Or you need to at least have 6 at some point. Now, the first hats you pick up will give you a perception bonus. Hats, glasses, there are a couple of perks and armors that can let you get perception. So we can leave that at 5, because at 6 it will let you get sniper, which lets you pretty much snipe better, and better criticals, which lets you do an extra 50% on top of the 50% boost you're doing with critical hits. So if you do 100 damage, normal crit is 150, better crit is 200. You do double damage on a crit, that's really crazy for this game. Like with a sniper rifle, I pretty much instant kill everything. So, let's see, we've got 3 points to play with. Yeah, we'll leave that, because that's the guaranteed. These aren't changing. And now I'm explaining them, which fail. Abraham Lincoln's hat will give you a +1 to intelligence, and it looks silly. But let's see. Agility, you need to have at least a 7 eventually, so that you can get the silent running perk, which lets you be able to move quicker while you're in stealth mode. Sniper, again, we know what the perks for that are, and Action Boy, which gives you pretty much an extra free hit in your VATS targeting system, which is really important. So that's why we make that a 6. Now, if you're going for all the bobbleheads from pretty much the start, you can. Most all of the bobbleheads you can get to. I would say if you're going to do that on Fallout 3, switch your difficulty to easy or very easy. You won't get a crap ton of XP, you won't get a lot of money, you won't get a lot of the good guns. And I would recommend be like somewhere around level 6 or 7, guaranteed to just have it done and safe. But the enemies are practically a pushover. They don't notice you as well when you're sneaking. Just, it's much easier, especially since one of the bobbleheads is in the Deathclaw Sanctuary. Yeah. Luck, you need to have it at 7. You can do it. A luck of 7 will allow you to, by the end of the game, max it out to 10. Just with items and perks. For this one, let's see. You need it at 7 to get better criticals. In one particular town, or one of the little shacks you find, you can get a thing called the Lucky Shades, which will give you a permanent +1 to luck as long as you're wearing the shades. So like, my luck of 7 right now, I'm getting 3 skill points to every skill. If I put on the shades, I'm getting an extra point to every single skill, which is awesome. A guy in one of the cities, after you've saved him, will give you an item called the Lucky 8 Ball. Just carrying it in your inventory, it weighs 1 pound, will give you +1 permanent to luck, as long as you have the 8 ball in your inventory. And then the bobblehead is actually really easy to get to. I've never gone for it, except on... This is not my brand new game. I just thought, with EA saying Fallout's coming and Fallout 3 is coming with it, this would be a good time to point out, hey, by the way, these are the stats you want. I still have 2 points floating around. Let's see. Let's say if you ever get the option, like when you first level up, put another point into agility using intense training. unless you are a female character. If you make a female character, the first perk you need to take is a perk called Black Widow. Like, the guys get a version of this, but it's not nearly as good. Black Widow, you have unique dialogue options with some of the important NPCs in the game. Usually you try to either seduce them or you'll say, "Hey, nice hat," and they'll start to trust you because you're talking more personally to them. Personably. um and versus every male character in the game, which is like 95% of all enemies are male or unisex, meaning they have no gender. It's either guys or they don't have a gender for the most part. Now, if you go just randomly shooting random people, then it's a pretty even mix of guys and girls, but super mutants are considered male. Ghouls, I think, are unigender. Most of the raiders, it's kind of a 2-to-1 guys to girls thing. So if you're a girl and you take Black Widow, you will get unique dialogue options and 10% extra damage to every male character you fight. That is a heaping boost. There aren't too many permanent boosts to all damage, so this is one you need to take. If you're a guy, yours gives you unique dialogue options with girls. And if you are fighting like female raiders, there aren't female super mutants for the most part. There aren't female ghouls for the most part that you fight. Again, if you want to just go on a killing spree in the middle of town, then this perk will affect you. But the 10% boost to fighting women long term isn't nearly as good as the permanent stat boost. But for women, that 10% boost to all males, that is crazy. You need to take that one. I mean, I would say if you're going to take a perk point at level 2 or 3, because 2 and 3 you'll have the same list of perks to choose from, and then at every even level it'll add 4 or 5 more perk choices to the list you already have. So if you're at like level 8 and you find a really cool perk you want to take, and you realize you're a point or two off in one of the stats, or most of them are based off of skill points, you can just go, okay, I need these skill points. I either need to back out and reorganize how I did my skills this level, or wait till next level up and just try remember, write yourself a note. I use Notepad on my laptop to remember some of these things. Google the Fallout wikis are definitely helpful for most of the missions and stuff. But yeah, this is the setup you want to do. Charisma, take out all the points in Charisma. You will never use your Charisma ever again. You will never put points into it. Now, if you're like level 18, 19, and you don't see any perks you want, go ahead, take Intense Training, and put a point in Charisma just so that... because this technically defines you. Like, I have an average physical strength, I'm slightly more perceptive, and slightly better stamina than the normal average person. But Charisma means I'm a jerk. Like, I can't talk to people for the life of me, but I'm really smart. I've got some decent moves when I'm on my feet, and I am somehow exceptionally lucky. Which I guess kind of helps make up for that people think you're a jerk if you're also lucky. They hang out with you because when the piano falls from the ceiling, somehow you dodge it. They want you around so that they know when the piano's gonna fall. So, that is all for this one. If there are any other games y'all want to see done, I know I'm on summer break. I've got a lot of games I'm going to be playing. A lot of those, if you are having trouble on any of the Xbox Live Gold games for 360, I am trying to get through some of those. So if you're having trouble on one of those, and you want to see some playthrough, or maybe you want to see whether or not it's worth like 4 or 5 gigabytes on your hard drive or something, let me know. I'll play it. I'm also going to do some gaming for Terraria. My wife may or may not play. She keeps wanting me to do Minecraft, but no offense, guys, I'm not a big Minecraft fan. If I'm gonna play something that's that heavily pixelated, I'd much rather have it in that side scrolly kind of dealy going. Um, but yeah, lots of cool things coming up from E3. There's gonna be a couple of things that probably weren't at E3 that we're gonna see during the summer. Um, but yeah, I think that's all I have to cover. So this is Lightbringer. Please message all your friends, Facebook, share the posts. If you like any of my videos, put it on there. If you're part of a forum that like rants about a game or something like that, feel free to message me or post my video wherever you want. More posts means I get a few more views. I hope to be able to use these gaming videos to make at least a couple $100 a month, help either pay insurance or take the wife out to dinner 1 or 2 nights more often every other week or so. A little extra pocket change is always nice, so I am relying on you guys to help YouTube pay me. So thanks for listening to all my past rants. I won't be ranting as often, hopefully. A couple of the things I was having problems with in Destiny seem to be maybe fixing themselves up, either with slight buffs or nerfs here and there, or like the new DLC coming out is gonna be touchy. Like as more news comes out, I'm gonna review it and do some of that. Fallout 3 again is one of the best games I have ever played. Made by Bethesda, so you know it's good. Like, that's one of those, if somebody wants to make an RPG and Bethesda says yes, you know it's going to be a great game. Now, there are some bugs, but their game worlds are so amazingly huge and diverse that I understand if every now and then I'll walk through the desert and see a monster like half sticking up out of the ground when he's not supposed to be. I get that. It's gonna be buggy. You can't fix every single iota of pixel in your game. So, thank you for listening, guys. Don't be too harsh in your reviews, but don't be too lax, okay? So, this is Lightbringer, and lights out.